Hi everyone, and welcome to my modern textured bob haircutting tutorial. I am so glad that you guys are able to join me, and although I'm talking really soft-spoken now, I will probably get really into this, and I decided to do the audio recording on top of everything just so you can still learn visually while also listening to my voice so I can help guide you through this. So as you're seeing right now, it's different still shots of the haircut that I've done on different mannequin heads or clients in real life. This haircut means so much to me, and I am so glad that you guys are here. I'm going to teach you how to do everything, how to remove the weight, how to add the shape in, and then at the end, I'm going to show you how to do the styling and how to finish it off. So as we begin, it's going to show you a couple of photos of the sectioning that I did before I started cutting the mannequin's head. You'll see this line that I've placed right there from the middle of her, sort of like the occipital bone that goes down to her ear. I use that guide as a way to know where I want to add the angle that lives in the hair on the back of their neck. So as I'm going through the haircut, you guys will notice that I'll be using this angle. And you can see that it's sort of like an upside down V that I'm placing in right there in the back of her head. So as I begin, I want you guys to know that you should use the other side of the comb, obviously, to make sure that you comb through all those little hairs, because you really want to make sure those little hairs are all combed through. I like to take my hand and press down on their neck where I'm about to cut. Using my hand really, placing my hand on that really keeps everything so flat, and it keeps tension on the hair. That way I can get a good clean line and not have to go back and try to touch it up all the time. I remember when I first started cutting hair, I would always, I would always be going back and going back and going back, and my boss finally came over and she was like, you have to use your hand and put your hand down. And ever since, it's like changed my whole life. So I start by doing like a little bit of a middle section. Like I take about an inch and I cut an inch out right there in the middle. And then right here is where you can start to see where I'm cutting right there from the middle on that line. And if you look up, you can see that line, and there's my hand showing you there's that line, and here's the line that we're cutting in the hair. So we're matching up this line that we're cutting with that section that's in the hair. And you just want to make sure you keep tension with your hand, and then keep following that guide and keep adding that angle in there. You'll notice right here, I'll over direct just a tiny bit back so I can make sure I keep that integrity of that length that's going to swing around to the front. And there you can see the little angles lining up. Perfect. Okay, now we're moving on to the other side. Of course, you're just going to follow through, do the exact same thing on the other side. And right above my hand, you can see that angle in the sectioning. And I'm just following that guide. And I love this sectioning because it really helps keep you, in check. It keeps you in check. You know exactly where that line is, and you just follow that. And it gives that perfect angle to the haircut. Just cross-checking here and cleaning up everything, and we're moving on to the next step. This is the next step in the haircut. And instead of doing like a normal 45-degree angle, we're going to take this and we're going to pull it straight up from the entire head. We're going to go all the way up, and you'll see as I do here. And you're going to come underneath with your shears and then start to carve that out and remove that wade. What this does is it allows you to still build a shape, but you're actually taking out more weight, as opposed if you were to just pull it out at a 45 or a 90-degree angle and just cut the ends off. So by pulling this up and then coming in, and it's slowing down here so you can really see exactly what we're taking off. When you come underneath and go up, you're removing that bulk, but still keeping that length. So if you think about a lot of clients, the majority of the time, they have the most trouble in this section that I'm in right now, because that's usually where most people are the curliest, or, you know, you'll hear clients complain about them being like kinky curly under there, or just being super thick under there. So instead of taking thinning shears or just doing a normal 45-degree angled cut like you would on an angled bob, I like to do it this way. So I'm leaving that length, but also removing weight and creating a shape. And then, of course, we're just following this around. Very simple. Don't be afraid here to take that off. It's going to feel a little foreign to you if you're not used to doing this technique. But don't be afraid to take that out, because it's really going to create this shape. And I believe in the next slide, you're going to really see the shape it creates. A lot of texture. There you go. Love it. Now we're going to take that front section down. It's a little bit different than normal, whereas most of the time you would take that top section down right above where we just cut. I like to leave that up and go ahead and take the top section down so I can make sure that this front section will blend in to that angle that we created in the back. So we're just blending this front piece in with the back. And then follow around to the other side. And of course, you already have your guide there for you because we've cut the back. And that's why I don't really like to mess with the other hair. That way we know for sure that you're getting those front pieces even. And you don't have to keep going forward and checking it and checking it and checking it. Because let's just be honest, that does get annoying, right? Now I'll pull everything to the front and just make sure everything lines up and that everything is cut even. Little OCD here, it's okay. Now taking that section down, you really want to shake the hair out and let the hair live in its natural state. You don't want a whole lot of tension on the hair in this part. And you want to go in, you want to do some deep point cutting. We're wanting to leave that length now, and we're having that undercut that lives underneath there. Slowing down here for you. Go in and just really notch this out. Use some deep point cutting to create some texture on the ends of the hair. And just continue to move forward and just keep point cutting all the way around. You're going to start to pull those front pieces in. And then, of course, continue on the other side. And keep shaking that hair out. Let that hair live in its natural state. You don't want too much tension. You don't want it to be like silky straight. You want to really go in and move it around. Here I'm taking Joico's Luster Lock K-Pipe Therapy, sort of like a leave-in conditioner, and also could be used as a cutting lotion. And I spray that in. And now we're going to go through here and do some point cutting. Please excuse how wild I look. Now you can see where the disconnect just happened there as that bottom piece fell out. We want that to be disconnected because we want this long hair to fall on top of that short hair. Now I'm just going in and doing some deep point cutting into the wet hair. You want to be careful here. It can be a little challenging to point cut into wet hair, but you don't want to be too precise. You're really just going in and trying to remove weight from the ends of the hair. Here I'm showing you the angle we cut in that way, and that way when it comes forward, you see it come this way. And there's a little happy dance, a Babyliss blow dryer. This is K-Pack leave-in protectant. I just like to massage this into the hair, like so. Now with your blow dryer, attach a nozzle and use a round brush to flip up the ends of the hair. You really want to make sure you go through and do this all the way around. You don't want to round in, you want the ends of the hair to flip up. Perfect for more texture. Here I'm going through once the hair is completely dry, and I'm just going through and just detailing and just cleaning anything up that I need to, removing any more weight. And as you can see, I'm going around here and I'm just literally just notching into that just to remove some weight. And as I comb through it, I don't think you can see the hair falling out, but obviously we're removing some weight from the ends of the hair. As I move through now, I'm just doing some deep point cutting on dry hair just to remove more weight and add more texture. I'm not super concerned about how I'm holding the hair or, how many, I'm not trying to create a lot of layering. I'm just removing weight. So that's the thing that you really want to realize about this haircut. There's the finished look. That's what it should look like. You're not trying to remove a lot of length or take a lot of length away with layering. You're really just trying to remove the weight. This is AG's Tousle Texture. I love to spray this on before I curl the hair. Just give it a nice mist all the way through, and then just kind of shake it with your hands, and you can already tell how much texture it gives you. It's the perfect texture spray. This is a Marcel iron, a 1 inch. Oh, it's a Hot Tools iron, I'm sorry. It's a Hot Tools. 1 inch Hot Tools iron. Now you're going to take small pieces here. It's very important. These are called bend waves. What you're doing is you're taking that curling iron. See, I'm twisting it and I'm just pulling through. I'm not really wanting to create a curl. I'm just literally wanting to place that curling iron in there and then bend it all the way through. Like bend and drag. So there I bend it and then drag it through. And I'm changing the movement of each curl. I'll start by curling one back, and then the next one I'll curl forward. And as you see here, I'm just going over the ends just to kind of straighten out if it does get a little bit too curly. So that one I may go back. And this one I may go back, just dragging that through, and you can start to see the shape and the texture that it's creating. Taking that one back. I try not to do back and forth on every one because sometimes it can look a little bit too uniform. It's sort of just like you want to make sure that every now and then you throw one in that's a different direction, if that makes sense. You can definitely do it the way where you get OCD about it and you're like, okay, this one is back and the next one must be forward. But like I said, sometimes it can look a little bit too uniform to me. It doesn't look as natural. Taking that next section down. It's really important here for you guys to remember to take small sections and then take small pieces whenever you're creating this. Because in my opinion, there's one going forward. In my opinion, taking small sections and taking the time to do so will help build a foundation that will give a better and a longer lasting look in the end. By the time we color and cut someone's hair, sometimes we are just so over it. I completely understand that by the time we get to the curling part, we just want to take big pieces. We just want to get it curled and get them out the door. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just saying sometimes we get busy and that may want to happen. But for me, it's always very important for me to take small little sections like I'm taking, because the smaller the sections you take and the smaller pieces you do, the more it builds up and creates a better shape. So there's going forward, pulling it through. And then this one we're going to go back. pull it through. So as you pull through, you're smoothing out those ends. So you're basically just bending the middle part of the hair, and then you're giving a little bit of a smoothing effect to the ends of the hair. Pull through, and just keep building. And this one we're going to bend forward. Okay, click, 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 pull through. And I always like to take my finger and just kind of pull through while it's hot, because I feel like it really helps the memory hold in there. I don't like it to cool off too much. I like to go ahead and maneuver the curl when it's hot and really piece it out. As we keep going, you can just see that shape and that texture building more and more. Taking this one back, just bending it, pulling through. And the reason why you want to pull through and you don't want to curl those ends is because you want to keep the integrity of that length. If you curl this too tight, it's going to look dated and it's going to look too short. We really want to keep that integrity of that length. It's what really makes the haircut, I feel like. Pulling through on this one, taking it back, pulling through. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's about to show you a final picture of the haircut, the result. And then, of course, I like to throw in this ending photo of me while I was doing it right here. Thank you guys so much. Good luck.